We don't pay much attention to Trump's constant bluster and empty threats. He knows full well that if an aggressive hand is ever extended towards our revered leader, we will not hesitate to cut off that hand.
This is with absolute resolve and unwavering courage, and it's not just an empty slogan, but we will set the world on fire.
We will strip them of all peace and security. We will leave no safe haven for them.
Tensions between Iran and United States have escalated once again over Donald Trump's leadership change remark. Iranian Armed Forces spokesperson General Abolfazl Shekarchi has declared that any hand towards the supreme leader would be cut off. Trump claimed that Iran decided to put off the executions of more than 800 people after Washington warned Tehran of the consequences.
President, I want to ask you about Iran. Is the military option still on the table? And can you assure us that the killing in Iran has stopped?
So with Iran, they were going to hang 837 people. And I let them be known that, and we let them know that if that happens, that will be a very bad day for them. And they decided not to do it. They didn't hang the people. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future, but supposedly they've taken that off the table. But they were going to, last week, they were going to hang on Thursday or Wednesday. They were going to hang, I think, 837 people. And they didn't hang anybody. So we're just going to have to see what happens with Iran. Is the military option off the table?
Tensions between Iran and United States escalated since a violent crackdown by authorities on the protests that began over Tehran's ailing economy on December 28th. Trump has warned Iran against killing of peaceful protesters and conducting mass executions in the wake of demonstrations. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, has blamed the United States for the deaths and even dubbed Trump a criminal.
We consider the American president to be a criminal, both for the casualties, for the damages, and for the accusation he made against the Iranian nation.
The death toll from the protests has reached at least 4,510, according to US-based human rights activists news agency. More than 26,300 people have been arrested during crackdown by the regime. Analysts have warned that prolonged internet shutdown in Iran could carry nuclear proliferation risks. David Albright, a former nuclear weapons inspector in Iraq and founder of the nonprofit Institute for Science and International Security in Washington, told the Associated Press that in a scenario of internal chaos in Iran, the government could lose the ability to protect its nuclear assets. Israel, who fought a 12-day war with Iran last year, has warned Tehran against attacking its territory.
If Iran, by some grave miscalculation, were to make the serious mistake of attacking us, we will operate with an intensity Iran has never before experienced.
Iran is escalating its response, from the streets to the courts to the world stage. Tehran says it is now collecting evidence for legal action against the United States and Israel, accusing them of committing crimes during what officials describe as a 12-day war. Iran's judiciary confirms special teams have been formed nationwide, tasked with documenting incidents, gathering testimony, and preparing cases for international legal forums. The message from Tehran is clear. This will not stop at statements. Iran's prosecutor general has vowed to pursue what he calls the aggressors until, he says, they are convicted and punished. As the legal push intensifies, Iran is also tightening control at home. State television says authorities have cut off around 40,000 Starlink satellite internet terminals, accusing the United States and Israel of using satellite networks to fuel unrest inside the country. According to Iranian officials, those connections were linked to what they describe as hostile operations, part of a broader campaign of destabilization. Protesters, however, tell a different story, saying their anger is rooted in economic collapse, political frustration, and a currency in free fall. But Tehran is rejecting that narrative outright. A senior advisor to Iran's supreme leader has now warned that the unrest is not just about Iran, but a plot against the entire region. In a phone call with Iraq's former prime minister, Ali Akbar Velayati said, "The protests were part of a wider plan by the United States and Israel, one he claims the Iranian people have already defeated." He said the fight is far from over, vowing that resistance against what he called the Zionist regime and Washington will only intensify. According to Iranian media, Velayati declared that Iran, Iraq, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Palestinian groups, and Ansarallah in Yemen would stand united against what he described as oppression across the region. Inside Tehran, the rhetoric is even harsher. Iran's judiciary chief has directly accused the United States and Israel of orchestrating the unrest, calling them criminals who must be prosecuted. He says legal action will be pursued both internationally and inside Iran's own courts. He also blasted the international community, accusing it of silence, hypocrisy, and complicity.
Deterrence of these actions, those who instigated these riots, who brought about all this damage and martyred these innocent people, whether it was the one who issued the call and invitation or the one who provided support, who gave financial backing, who offered propaganda support, or who supplied weapons, whether it is America, or whether it is the regime, or whether it is their mercenaries, all of them are criminals. So each one, according to their specific actions, must be prosecuted. But there are also international criminals. They must be prosecuted in both international and domestic courts. Our esteemed international department, our nation's prosecutor general, and shame on those who, unfortunately, even at this juncture, were not willing to pursue these criminals and their supporters. At the very least, they should condemn them, even if only verbally. It should also be explained to the people that the law mandates, for instance, when a bag, and it became another scandal for the so-called international communities, that today the treacherous American president, they openly come and support these crimes. They back them up. They equip the terrorists. They give them weapons. They train them, and they provide them with material and moral assistance for them to come and slaughter people in this manner. The instigators, the perpetrators, the participants, and the direct actors in this affair are ultimately responsible for the extensive damages they have inflicted. They must make amends and compensate. They must be pursued and prosecuted both in our domestic courts, which I once again strongly emphasize.